It's 2020, and with live events going virtual all over the world, we at Wacom issued a unique artistic challenge.
We gathered portfolios from across the Americas, selected 8 student artists, and split them into 2 teams, giving them a Wacom 1, some pro animation software, and 7 days to create a 45-second animated short. And everything done remotely. This is Cartoon Crunch.
All right, everybody, welcome to day 5. Wow, you're still alive, you're still going, and this is the morning brief. So, you guys are starting in on your animation, and that's exciting to see. I've seen a few samples from Team West. I'm seeing a little bit from Team East, although you guys are much more secretive about your project, not having it on the Slack chat. So I'm looking forward to everything that you guys have to put forward today. So we are continuing with animation, of course, today. We are going to have a guest mentor visit again from Travis. He's going to come and talk, and then just sort of if you have scenes that you're having trouble with, or you need a little bit of extra guidance on how to pull off a certain effect or something like that, then he'll be able to help you with that. Also, I'll be available if you guys want to meet as a team, and just let me know, and we can set that up. But keep going, guys. Again, you're doing fantastically, and I hope to see some more of your guys' stuff very soon. Okay? Let's get crunching. You guys, it's guest mentor visit time. So I hope you've had a very productive morning. Team East, how you feeling? Great. Team West, how about you?
Amazing.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. So in our guest mentor meeting, I'd like you to welcome back our guest mentor from yesterday, animation professional, Mr. Travis Blaise.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Surprise, surprise. It's me again. Yay.
All right, cool. So let's do Team West for breakout, and then we'll go to Team East.
All right.
All right.
Sounds like a plan. So let's go ahead and play this, and we'll take a look at it. So, and then we'll just go back. We'll just step through each shot that you want me to talk about. So. Okay, yeah, I can see a lot of animation being done in there, all looking good. I'm looking at it right now going, as Mike would probably look at it, is going, questions is, how do you feel about where you are currently in your timeline and your timing do you feel comfortable and confident that you can, if we said no notes right now, that you guys would be able to finish your cleanups and colors? I'm looking at this because complexity is going to be a key issue as to whether or not you can finish something. How simple your designs are versus how complicated they are. The color looks great on here. Where are we with backgrounds?
Pretty close.
Six are done, right?
So yeah, there's I think 1 shot that still, or 2 shots that still need to be drawn out for environments. Okay. All the rest just need to add color, which is going to be a lot more simple than the designing and drawing out part. So that should take me like a day at most. But overall, environments are coming along.
Yeah, they're getting there. They're pretty
I'm going to throw a curveball at you guys because I'm just noticing it more as we're cleaning up. What if you flop the scene the way it is? Because right now the main character is coming in left to right. The antagonist is a left to right scenario, and you're starting this off left to right as opposed to right to left. If the opening was flopped, because the majority of your animation, with the exception of this, because this could be easily manipulated to go right to left. Right now you're going straight on, and everything else from this point on is right to left. And because it's a short, there's no reason why you should start. Basically, it's just flopping this opening. Exactly everything you have, but just flop it to kind of fit in the continuity to everything else that's in the short itself. Because it's just throwing me off slightly. Because it's so directly right to left that I feel like the antagonist is going to come in from right screen rather than left screen. And I know that you've switched it kind of by this direct, him going over here and going this way, but to the viewer's eye, if they're looking right, left, this is a pretty direct right screen looking, that the door is way off to the right. And even if he moves forward, I still feel like in my brain, I want to see him coming in from the right rather than the left. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
So I would say, see if you can flop this, and it's not changing anything of your animation. It's just simply flopping it. I think when you do that and do this whole transition that you have with the camera move, also do that flopped. So that when you get to this, the character, she will be, what I would do here is flop the background in this shot, flop the girl in the chair, and just shift, don't flop the animation of him, just shift him over where the current position of the girl is, and put the girl where the current position of the cat, or the dog is. Do you follow me? And then after that, everything else should flow that left to right screen, because you have everything else is doing that. So those are minor tweaks I think are going to help the continuity of it, not throw up. It's throwing me off a little bit. I don't know if you can see that or not see that. Yeah. First is, do you recognize what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you think that's a good idea?
I think so.
I don't know if any of you guys have noticed that at all, if it was bothering you, because sometimes it's those little tweaks that you do that will help kind of sell the continuity. And this goes down to camera pacing and camera direction. So that would be my first suggestion. I love the color. Again, it's the screen direction, just flopping it.
I do have one comment about the dog knight, though. Look at his ear going straight up into that line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's just a little nudge over, but you know.
Yeah, it's all of these are little tangents. You're going to hear a lot about that when you get into production, watching tangents, watching your lines, things that are getting too close to the edge, or like what you're saying, like with the ear is literally going right up the line of the column. What that does is it flattens the depth that you're trying to create. When you create tangents typically flatten out a look or feel of what you're trying to accomplish. So by shifting them over slightly more, it's a simple fix.
I kind of want to see him standing there with his sword like this, in that sort of, guard-like posture with the sword pointing down and the tip on the floor, because he's got that big beefy sword. He can have like that, or on at his side or something, just holding onto it, and it's resting on the floor. I think that that would definitely sell guard really well. It sells guard right now how it is, because he's standing in front of her and obviously guarding, but just having his weapon like ready to go, I think would push it that much further.
the other things is I feel like at this point in the game, you took some liberties and made decisions on what you wanted to fix and not fix. I was going to just do a couple of drawovers to show you what I'm talking about with those two shots, those first two shots. And then this part here, when you see him there down below, when the thing blows, I think he's too far over to the right now. I feel like he could be, and this is where I can draw things like draw over notes. I love the laser beam. That's great. Well, remember how we talked about the possibility of like when he first comes in, he's looking around searching for what he's looking for. Yeah. All of that could happen in this shadow. You could see the shadow shifting left to right, and then the laser kind of comes up. Just to kind of give it a little character moment. Like I like you made the choice to kind of keep the laser and do the laser here, that maybe you can animate the shadow to kind of look like it's looking around. And then that is a nice cut into what you currently have here. To economize on time, if you could put some kind of, and again, if you guys if you disagree, it's completely your project, but having that, keeping exactly what you have, but throwing that overlay in, that's sort of like the Terminator, the first Terminator, when he looks around and he's seeing Sarah Connor or whoever, and he's analyzing who they are. And then have a little bit more time as he's moving forward. And at the very last second, yeah, I like that. I like this coming in. I'm just wondering if you could delay timing wise by a few more frames, having this come in, having him get a little bit closer to her before this blast comes in. Because I feel like we're almost missing the moment, the impact. Like I would literally like delay this frame coming in for another 2 frames. So you're getting maybe 2 positions closer to her. You want to feel like it's almost on top of her, because before this thing comes in, I really feel like you want to have time for the audience to kind of feel like, oh my God, we're almost on top of her. And then bam, the flash comes in, and then we're right there to really sell that moment, like of impact. So, and since you're in the animation mode right now, this thing here could literally be, the girl could be slightly closer. Have you done this layout already with the chair?
No, not this one.
Not this one. Okay.
I think also in this one, you could probably strengthen that pose to a stronger, stronger body position for him, because you're kind of breaking up some of the lines that could be there.
Strengthen the pose. Yes, I agree. I think you could.
Travis, I've got a quick draw over for that one.
Okay, let me see it. Yep.
So you got this sort of straight opposing line, because what you have right now is this leg back and this leg forward, which sort of makes this. If you put this leg back, it'll have a very straight opposing curve, and it'll have a very clear silhouette.
Okay.
So it's something to think about.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you do the ink test, where you just, trace it out. If you can just do this, then you can see the silhouette immediately. And if it fails that test, then you should try and look for something else.
Okay.
Look at that. All in Toon Boom. Amazing.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So moving forward, I think this is great. I would say, for continuity's sake, when you're going into, he pushes back, I would almost like to see in this pose, the Roomba robot, I'd like to see him hit the left screen doorway frame and then bounce over. slide, bam, catch itself, and then boom, boom, and then shoot forward again. So you kind of started doing it here, but you need to push it a little bit further before he settles and gets in. So it's kind of like a 1, 2, 3 settle, and then we cut.
That would actually save you several frames worth of time because he would have something that would backstop him, and you wouldn't have to take all that time to have him slow, and then go forward. You know what I mean? Because it wouldn't look natural otherwise.
We want to feel like he's a little thrown off, and again, to me, it's about selling the idea that this robot's a Roomba for the end, for it to pay off in the end. And just make sure when you get to this cut that you match cut the same position and pose that you have in this shot. Make sure it's the same, similar position and pose. This is where those little continuity in actions occur. So that's one thing to consider. And then when you go into here, that pose is great. Now you had made the change. I see a star over to the right. What is that star for?
Originally, it was just like the star stands for shots that the story could work if they weren't in there. We haven't gone around to doing your Roomba note, but I think we plan on adding like the
making sure that this perspective is pushed a little bit more, and you see a little bit of the Roomba, and you see the laser light coming down, and in this shot, to sell that. And then it goes into this, which I like. Boom, and he goes running forward, and I like this. The only question I have to make it clear is the left screen. Now this is supposed to be almost finished shot. I love the pose of the dog. I'm just a little unclear of like what the robot is. Maybe it needs to be more like this, or if you're looking at an upshot of him, maybe it's more of this kind of shot with the laser. Does that make sense? Maybe you're looking more like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Looking forward at him, since you have this kind of angle, you want to mirror the two image, one upshot, or I kind of get what you're doing with this, but if you did that, I would almost feel like I'd want to make it slightly like this. And then after that, I think going into all of this is great. We've already gave you we gave you the note on this. Really have fun. I would say, my thought was on this part right here. Is you could go a little tighter, possibly with this. Maybe, I don't know if you want to do a Dutch angle or not on this, but maybe this could be slightly bigger, and the dog. The dog could be, having that kind of pose where it's maybe slightly bigger. But then again, it's fun to see a little bit more of the layout of the background, and make sure that when you do this layout for the room, that the room feels like kind of like what Mike did with his short. Make sure the room has elements of what her room feels like, what the throne room felt like. Like I love the chair that she was in, because it totally makes me feel like this shot totally makes me feel like she's in that, going from her little chair that she's in to the throne, which is pretty cool. My only thing is for this shot here, which is all great, I'm wondering if you could scale him up by 10 or 20%, maybe 10% bigger, so that this is more here, and you still have the corgi. You don't want to block, you don't want it to hit up here, but maybe it's It's somewhere like right in here. Maybe drop this down.
Maybe if you have extra time to fix that one.
Yeah, it's just scaling it up slightly, keeping the same animation. Don't change anything.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, just scaling it up, not reanimating anything, just pushing your depth a little bit more, but still keeping a clear enough action that, you know, the ears don't go out of frame up here at the top. But it's just making it feel like there's a little bit more depth to it. That's all. Other than that, because I feel like you have some empty space here that you could, right in here, that you could shift, you know, like by putting him here, and then the dog is right here. All of that's the same. No, it's just scaling. It's just a scaling and composition thing is all I'm saying. Than what you have, and which I love. I love all this. I think all this is great. The animation's great. The style's great. If you can continue, guys, if you can continue with this caliber of animation and style and look, you're golden. It's going to be a great short.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the intro. Is that good to look at right now? So what I would say on this rough animation looks good. I would, yeah, do the loop, but when you pull this out, instead of throwing it like you have right now, to make it clear, don't do two actions at the same time. If she's stirring it, also make sure her eye, in the storyboards, you have her looking, you have this this cookbook or whatever that's opened up, this witch book. I would have her, because you've drawn it in there, and it's almost like she's trying to create something. And in the storyboards, if I remember correctly, she was kind of, wasn't that book there important that she was sort of looking at it for ingredients? Is it possible in this animation, and let's see, spider, rough, shadow.
Yeah, it's in rough.
It's
you could probably move the pupils probably like one line or two.
Yeah, so rough, this is her.
Yeah. I would say lock the other, like the shadow and the glow, so that you don't accidentally pick them up. Yeah, right there, yep.
Okay. So what I would say, and I'm gonna knock the, so as you're, all I'm saying is for this thing, as she's staring down, is moving the eye direction down.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the big nose. The book, I think the book element is important, so that as she's looking at this and she's stirring, just keeping that eye direction. I like the stir, works fine for me. I think it's working good. As you move forward here for the next thing, as you move forward, I would get here, and then
yeah, have her reference it before she dips down.
You know, reference. And then she can even pull it in slightly. And she does that. So that when she's here, she can, you know, I know you're keeping it in one position, but I almost feel like if she looked down and she had her arm and this thing, keeping that moon, making sure, yeah, you can still keep that hump. However she is with her hair. She can look down at the thing. And then instead of this extra swoop, take the time to, in the same timing, you go from that pose, you know, looking over to lifting up the whatever this is. Maybe it's a big spoon.
Or you could just leave it in the pot and not throw it.
Yeah, you could leave it in a pot. That's
Then,
I would say if you're gonna throw it, I wouldn't throw it. I would just either stick it in a pot, like you're saying, here, do this. Let's go back. Or take it out like I was gonna do and just place it next to the, you know, I would have just placed it right here or next to the thing. But since you have all this stuff going on, there's nothing wrong with just like kind of like leaving it here.
that way you don't have to animate it throwing it, so it's just a held cell.
But then do you think we have to, for all the other shots, leave the stick there? Like the next shot is like in the cauldron?
Yeah, I mean, you would have to, for continuity's sake, you would have to do that. That's why it's your choice. Adding.
Yeah, I sort of like the idea of her propping it somewhere, maybe even against the back wall, or I don't know, just like throwing it out.
No, it would be more like make sure you lift it up, and then when you do lift that up, and she's still kind of looking, she's looking down at this, and her hand, you know, you keep her in your hand right here.
Yeah, you could have her put it down while you're anticing, you know, doing the anticipation to reach for the eyeball. You know, so she is like, you know, taking it out and then and then going down and getting something. You know.
So the pose is, you know, stir, 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 looks over, then puts it over. We can just have her place it here. She can literally just place it like there.
In the middle of the book?
In the middle of the book. It doesn't, you know, it's a placeholder. Because at this point, she's putting in, at this point, the book isn't even important anymore. Because we don't refer back to the book after this. Correct? So you can, you know, keep it within proximity of what you're doing because you don't want to break the silhouette and create something. You know, you can have her hand, like I said, right here, and then, you know, she can just lean back slightly. Like she's already looking to do the next thing. And then she can look over. If this thing's just right here, she can then look over to what she wants to see. So, you know, it could be like her hand right here. And then she's leaning down. Where's she at? I would have her grab this and just lean forward.
The scalding pot.
Scalding hot pot.
Or put her finger on the book or something too.
Witches don't feel pain, man.
Pain? What are you talking about? There's no pain here with her. And when you animate, it's especially in your first passes, it's okay to go really super simple like this, like I have. Keeping key elements. The hard part is keeping your, once you go vector with these the hat, you can probably create one hat symbol and use it for the animation here.
Because once you go vector, you never go back.
Not true, but hey, that's okay. Let's put this right here.
Drawing in vector is like dark chocolate. Once you get into it, you just don't.
Yeah, I love dark chocolate. Dark chocolate's one of my favorite. So let's see here. Lean forward. See the hunch. She has a hunch, so making sure that hunch is there. We already know she's going behind. She's reaching down, and then when she comes up, that way you're getting rid of all of this action right here, simplifying it, and you're staying within that pose, and you're just putting it down, putting it up, and then leaning forward. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, so the one that Kim just sent me, should I download that, and then does that have the animatic in it?
It has a bit of the animatic in the beginning because I went from that, but then the next scene I think is like six or five. Then it's my animation from that on.
Okay. Okay, so all this looks good. Her coming up, that looks great. I would say she needs to feel a bit smaller in scale to him. I feel like she grows a little too big, like it's almost like a little kid in that last shot. What I would say is for this pose, and let's see if I can get to it. If you're gonna do a pose, have the pose be more like arcing this way. And is he wearing the hat? Oh, you threw the hat in. That's right, the hat. You threw the hat in. Right, correct. Did you make sure the layout has that mustache in the pictures?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that when this, I would push the pose.
Casey was on it.
Yep.
I would push the pose more like this, so that, and I might even consider dropping. Let's see here. I'm gonna do this right here. I'm gonna grab this. I'm wondering if you could just give it a little bit more clear like this. And then where are we? As we move forward, it drops down into this pose. you can really push the perspective. So that you have a change of posing. Let's see here, right there. Leans forward. And you have enough opportunity to do an overlap. Trying to think of, that's a shape there, shape there. Just figuring out a way to push this perspective on this character more, so it kind of comes in and fills the screen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally.
So you're pushing it back a little bit, and then as it leans forward, I might even do. So it goes from this pose to then leaning forward. And I'm wondering if you can even.
I think you can take some of the elements that you have, Kim, right there, and just sort of push that perspective using the drawing that you do have, and then just, sizing the different elements to fit. If you do decide that you want to bring him forward a bit more.
Totally, looks great.
I'm giving you just a simple blocking. Hand, elbow, elbow. Maybe. Let's do this.
I do think having him lean forward like this gives that that scariness that you guys are looking for.
I would drop. Yeah, I would just drop. I think I'm just exploring where you could just drop the arms, even if this is out of frame a little bit. So anyways, leaning forward, get rid of, let's get rid of that one. I like that. Let's just do something like that, or maybe that one. Let's just keep it at that. Take the note. Yeah, apologize that they're rough, but we're trying to crank through this fast. But hopefully that helps in terms of how you can push the poses a little bit more.
Yeah, we did a lot.
Okay. All right. Well, with that being said, I think we're good to go on this end.
All right, you guys. Let's see if we can get Team West back in here really quick. Well, thank you, Travis, for coming in and helping out and laying down a little bit of instruction for our next year.
It was my pleasure to do all that. I hope that was helpful, guys. I know it's a lot of work, but you guys are all both your teams are doing great. So just keep doing it. Plug it away. You got a solid story. You gotta finish it.
All right, you guys. Thanks, Travis.
All right. See you guys. Take care. Bye.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I won't be the same artist after this event, but I don't know exactly how different I'll be. I still need time to absorb it, I guess.
When I started doing the layouts, I didn't really have any idea in mind, like stylistically what I wanted to go for. And on the second day, when we were given that note about how it looked like the UPA style, I was just like, oh, okay, that's like what we're going for. And I think ever since then, it's that actually, just that one note helped a lot coming up with the rest of the film stylistically. And I'm glad that we went that route, because if everything was a lot more detailed or more shaded, it would have taken a lot more time to get the layouts done. But I think that we were able to find a style that looked good and was also simple enough to fit this project that only has a limited amount of time.
And it feels like it's been longer than a week actually for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It went by fast, but then like I feel like we've done this for longer. I don't know how to explain it.
Parts of it went really slow, and then other parts were like whoosh.
Feels like my whole life already.
And add that to animation. Animation also distorts time because I feel like time flies by when I'm animating. So
yeah, I'm amazed at how fast everyone is working.
Yeah, especially Daniel and Annie. It seems like they're just producing animation so quick.
And I mean, like, we're definitely trying to use our strong suits where we can, like Casey's design, for example, and like Leanne. You know, we took a shot at doing some of the FX, and then Leanne comes in. She's like, "Yeah, I'll give it a try." And it's like, "Oh my, how did she's like?" I'm like, "You're the witch, you're the wizard, or something." This is like, Jesus.
Hey,
so
Dylan, I don't know how you feel about that, but to me, it's like I'm doing one drawing, and then suddenly Leanne uploads like 5. And she's like, she's like, "Oh, I did that in an hour." Like, okay, I'm still in the same scene.
Thanks to Annie, she's been like churning out a lot of like, work the past few days.
I was just saying, me and Leanna are gonna have to have a showdown or something.
I feel like for me, it's like, you know, I'll see like everyone producing work quickly. So it's like, okay, I don't want to seem like I'm not doing anything. Let me produce at their level.
I think that because we've had such little time, it's just like that's obviously why it's been more stressful. But I think that's like, again, like when we were being forced to change things really quickly, I feel like if we had more time to like, you know, like if we had a week to work on the story versus 2 days, we wouldn't have had as much conflict trying to get to the end point.
School seems to hold my hand a little bit more, or like a critique seems like it has to be kind of cushioned a little bit, which kind of creates kind of a safe kind of bubble that you're kind of used to. So when it's just like, yeah, no, this, and you go, oh, is that it? Like, I'm very used to them being like, but you're okay, and then like remember to listen to your whole group, and they're like, it's very like, it's almost, it's kind of just teaching like sharing is caring in a weird way, because it's teaching you to be nice and take critiques, but like it's taking critiques, but in a fast pace. Like you take critiques from your classmates who will go like, I don't like blue, and you're like, I don't know how that helps me. But then having like someone like higher up actually go like, nope, it needs to be red, and you go, oh, okay, there's no fighting this. All right, we're gonna go. Like, it's very different from the environment I'm used to.
You know, when you have a lot of conflict, you grow, but when you have a lot of conflict with someone, you develop some kind of bond somehow, because we are all dealing with the same danger.
We're all in the same stress constraints.
Exactly.
We all know
exactly.
what each other are going through, yeah.
It's like we will be like
shared trauma. It's shared trauma.
Exactly. I was gonna say war. So with that, exactly that. It's like that's our war.
At the very beginning, it started off with just a one-line idea, and then taking it further to a full-blown film is pretty cool and exciting.